Yo, what up folks, TripCG here, and today we're going to be having a look at Atarka Red in Explorer, though it is also patch day, which means the new economy updates here. Yeah, you've just given everybody 12 free wildcards, by which, I mean, the bans have happened for standard, Reckoner, Bankbuster, Invoke Despair, and Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which, you know, anyway, Atarka Red then. We've seen a couple of different aggro decks come out over the last a couple of weeks. Obviously the Boros Hogak deck, which I do have a video on if you want to check that out. But here we're going to have a look at something a little bit different, a bit of a different take on aggro, and that is Atarka Red, building around Atarka's command. The red-green, choose 2. Opponents can't gain life this turn. Okay, fair enough. 3 damage to each opponent. Okay, fairly good, like on rate for a burn spell. You put an extra land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Okay. And then creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain reach 10 a turn. And it's the second and fourth ability that we're really trying to look at here. We're trying to buff our team and deal 3 damage, and so we're going quite wide. Kind of enable that, we have 4 copies of Commander Faces Kakazan. Obviously just incredible card, powers up the rest of your team. Make sure that you've got some extra power coming down later on in the game. And it's pretty nice. We've got actual 1-drop creatures. 1/3 Swift Spear. We've got Phoenix Chick, which in this deck especially, because we're going wide, you can often bring back, which is great. Obviously, Evasive Attacker that we can buff as well is very, very nice. We've got 4 copies of Skull Scar Mage, and then we've also got 4 copies of Bowmat Carrier, which is a couple of different things. Firstly, obviously, it's a haste attacker, sure. But this ability, where it acts as the top card of your library face down, get you to some card advantage. Eventually, when you run out of cards, you can discard your hand, sacrifice it, and then put the cards outside with it into your hand. If you do have 2, you can stack this ability. You can discard your hand, sacrifice 1, discard your hand, sacrifice the other, and then with that, put all exiled cards into his hands on the stack, and then you get both of those, which is kind of nice. But one thing that is really, really nice is that it lets you play it, gives you something to play off of Burning Tree Embassy. Burning Tree Embassy is a really, really awesome card. Lets you kind of double spell. Obviously, if you have multiples, it's just insane. There are a bunch of really, really good cards you can go into, but we also are able to go into a couple of 1-drops too. And so Bowmat Carrier gives us something we can play off the green, which is, you know, handy in a pickle. The last thing we have at 1 is Play with Fire. Just a efficient burn spell. Hey, it's some manipulation as well if you want to go to face. But yeah, obviously is great with Swift Spear, Soul Skull Mage, the prowess creatures. We talked about Burning Tree Emissary. You can go Burning Tree into Target's command. You can go Burning Tree into any of your 1-drops. You can also go Burning Tree into Carry Zev. Carry Zev is one of the most efficient cards of the Target's command, because obviously you're getting 2 bodies in. It's also very strong with Mono Faces Kakazan, because it itself is Menace. And it's really, really good when you're trying to go wide in general. Obviously, it's Target's command, buffing your entire team. You get to play this in combat, blow your opponent out of the water. It's really, really good. The other thing is that we've got a couple of copies of Galia of the Endless Dance. Red-green for a 2/2 with haste. Okay, fair enough. Other cities you control get +1/+1 and have haste. We're not really taking advantage of that here at all. You could, if you wanted to, play some Mutant Vaults, but we're actually pretty tight on terms of coloured mana here. Otherwise, it would be actually kind of neat. The real payoff here is whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, which again, we're going wide, we're going to do that a lot. You get to discard a card at random, and if you do, draw 2 cards. It's a card advantage engine to itself. You get to pitch your lands. You've got floating around in your hand. Again, alongside Bowmat Carrier, it gives you a way to kind of actually play into the mid game if you don't manage to finish your opponent off straight away, which is awesome. And then the last thing is Bone Crusher Giant. It's another thing that we can do off of Burning Tree Emissary. Burning Tree Emissary to stomp our opponent's creature is actually really, really strong, but obviously is also a great creature in its own right. But Stomp gives you some extra removal as well. Is super, super nice. The mana is very, very straightforward. We get to play 4 copies of Den of the Bugbear. Obviously, we're an aggro deck. But those goblins, again, let you go wide. That's what we're about. To that end as well, we're playing 2 copies of Sekenzan. We've got an extra one here as well, because that ability to make creatures, obviously, we're trying to attack with 3 creatures for Galia, for the Phoenix Chick. Obviously, once they're in play, we can then go and buff them again. And then kind of red-green lands out, so 4 copy Line Gorge, 4 Crackground Pathway, a Forest, 4 Stomping Grounds, and then there's a single copy of Mountain here as well, which you can find if one of your mana lands gets Field of Ruin. So yeah, a quick look at the sideboard. 4 copies of Rending Volley, very straightforward. We need some answers for Greasefang. Also great versus Spirits, Angels, that kind of thing. Mono white aggro. Roiling Vortex is really nice, and we've actually got 2 copies here that kind of split up, but denying our opponent life gain, especially versus something like Angels, is just incredibly important. If your opponent decides to cast free spells, they take a bunch of damage, but that's not really the point here. One of the really interesting cards you get to play in red-green is Clothis. Just very, very hard to deal with as an indestructible enchantment. If you do turn it on, that's great, but even if you don't, it's still really, really good. So at the beginning of pre-combat main phase, exile a card from a graveyard. If it's a land, add some mana. Otherwise, you gain 2, deal 2 to each opponent. Basically acts like I'm just going to drain you 2 for 2 every turn for the rest of the game. As hey, if they've killed all your creatures, then you're just going to kill them with Clothis. Slowly over time. A couple of Magmatic Chasm looks a bit out of place, because we're committing to the board so hard. One of the things we do struggle with, especially on the draw, is versus green. And Magmatic Chasm just lets us just attack through all their creatures. If they get out ahead, go like Elf into Troll into Cavalier, they can really put up a bunch of walls, and so my Manic Chasm just lets us go, okay, no, we're not going to deal with all that. Cindervines here. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Cindervines does 1 damage to that player. Okay, fair enough. There are some matchups where this is pretty good, but effectively like a destructive revelry effect. Sacrifice a destroy artifact of enchantment, and then 2 damage to that opponent's controller, while having that first ability in play to start with is really, really nice. Give you some nice outsprite effects enchantments as well. Carry Zeb's Expertise is one of my kind of low-key favourite cards that we have access to in red. Gain control of target creature or vehicle until the turn, untap against haste. Okay, nice. But it also lets you get ahead of the curve. Again, we've got a bunch of really important things to do for 2, including Atarka's command. And the way this works is that the creature that you steal will also get the buff, which is amazing. Or you can Guardia. There's a ton of really, really good things to do off of it. And the last thing here is a copy of Squee. I wanted something I could bring in versus like sweeper decks. Squee here comes in, hey, it lets you go wide again. You get to attack, make a goblin token. Nice, but the ability to bring back from the graveyard is really, really handy and lets us grind a little bit. Gives us some longevity, which is really solid. Gonna hop into some ranked games. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's go. Alright, here we go. Atarka red into our first match here. Come on the play, on the play, on the play. Nice. Obviously very important to win the dice roll, but yeah. And looks at solid, we will keep it. No burning tree. Well, looks bad, that's fine. Be with a den, and actually kind of interesting. I am just gonna make the. Okay. We have a couple of options here. Carries Zeb on turn 2, obviously presenting this as like a 2/4, so it's super hard to deal with. Ooh, we're getting scales. Interesting. Can only imagine. That's what we want to leave the counter on. Making Soul Skull Mage once you suspicious, obviously fairly strong. Don't necessarily want to kill this now, but like, the next one obviously flipping this is going to get a big attack in. I think we're just going to put as much power into play now as possible. We'll get this burst with the token. Make this Soul Skull Mage. Okay. The hard to look quite interesting. Obviously, you've got the new edition of Ozolith, but obviously, Ozolith on turn 2 here does nothing. So for an aggro deck, it can be a little slow. They're kind of relying on cards like Hangerback Walker, and the Serpent. Like here, they'll have a big turn 3, but for now, we are in the clear. They have an Ornithopter they're thinking about playing here. This is a tell, I guess. They could also play a, there's no reason to play an artifact for 0. It's strange. Here we will play with fire, which you may as well use. We may as well just put as much damage onto the board as possible. I'm gonna shock the Stomping Ground. Keep hold of seconds in case we draw another land. We'll just poke this out of the way. Figure out passive effects, obviously they don't get to the counter anywhere. Make an attack. Another 10, and then carries up. Alright. Now, if we don't draw the land this time, I will play this again then, because we'll have the Den activation soon. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never read this card before in my life. Green X. X counters. When it dies, it had 2 more counters, create a token as a big copy of it at the beginning of that tokens with half of them account. Okay. It is a 2/2, which is annoying. This is Menace. Everything except the Soul Skull Mage can attack through here. I'm just gonna make the tap land. Oh, they're just gonna pass. Okay. They're just gonna. Alright, game 2, game 2. I don't know how. I don't know the last time I've been like, I've just never seen that card. So, I kind of want these carries Dev's expertise. I'm not sure if I want anything else. The Cindervines are interesting. So Cindervines, obviously, the non-creature spell's not doing that much, but hey, just having a disenchant effect to deal some damage might be good enough to like too good. Though they're not necessarily all in on artifacts, because obviously they showed us that Green X card. I might even leave it for now. Like some of the artifacts they play, you just don't want to kill anyway. It's so tricky because it's not like a straight up disenchant either. It's a little bit clunky. Outside of that, we have nothing really we want to bring in here. So I'm gonna say, hey, maybe we'll bring these Cindervines in game 3. But for now, it's just 2 carries, Devs, and then also what do we want to cut? Some of the slower cards, probably Roadmap Courier. It's not doing very much here. Is this also card advantage? The game should not go on that long. That reasonable. We cut 2 Bowmat carriers. We could full put the Cinder ones in, but we need a critical mass of 2 drops. I think this is correct. I don't think I want to bring any other cards. Let's do this, and then we'll maybe bring this in the Vikings game 3. If we see anything particularly like shootable. It also doesn't hit Stonecoil Serpent, which is again pretty important. There are plenty of matches where that particular disenchantment is good. My life for a destructive revelry. What can I say? This is pretty solid. We got Burning Tree as well. We do have our Bowmat carrier. Alright, leading with scales is nice. It means we get a quote-unquote free hitter with the Bowmat. Let's get that down. Ideally, kind of want to find something else to play with this Burning Tree. Or might play Burning Tree into Phoenix Chick so that we get some more stuff out of our Atarka's command to attack. Okay, so green-white scales. The Jelly again is going to come with some counters. Ooh, excuse me. So we have Kamamo plus Phoenix Chick. You guys attack. Obviously, this can't right now. Yeah, I kind of like this. We don't actually want to trade with this card. This card trades really well. Doesn't have reach though, so we'll get to swing with the Phoenix at it. Pass back. We do want to use the Atarka's command before we get to the point. Okay, second copy of Stales into Blue Mark Aspirant is pretty great. Okay, so into red zone here. We go down to 15. Excellent. We do need an answer for the Aspirant. That's good. I'm pretty happy this turn to go like Burning Tree play with fire, because then we start. One consideration to not go with Atarka's command here is that we are flipping the command next turn, and we're not going to be able to activate the Den of the Bugbear yet. So at the minute, if we don't, we're killing the Limonarch no matter what. I'm just going to go ahead and cast this now. But unless we draw us like 2 spell, like a spell to cast, actually not, we will get more damage out of it next turn. It feels weird, but we're not actually going to cast this now. We'll play the couple. I'm going to set this because I think this unsaps. We tap next turn. I think I have a 5/5. The creatures are better with the 2 scales in play, for sure. Okay, they don't have a third 1-drop. We're going to go 10 here. They've got 2 blockers left. They're at 15. I'm gonna get careful. The Bowmat Career actually doesn't trade up. We can sack our hand off though, if we want to. It's just important that we stay alive. We do have the Soul Skirmish to block, but this is trample. One. So if they don't block any of these, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's not actually. 15, 4, 12, 11, 14. Leave this back. This is right. So, 3 damage. We'll pump the rest of this one. And then we will sack this off. Alright, expertise next turn is really good because we can take the jelly. We just have to live here. That is our one requirement. I'm basically going to block the two trample times. We go to 3, and then what have they got? They're on 6. We'll try and steal this. We'll cast this through it. Should have so first. But yeah, we have them down here. Not too bad, not too bad. Karizev's expertise putting in some work there. Love that, love that. Let's be on the plate again. Very solid. Can start playing interaction. Any hand with like lands and bone giant looks good. But hey. We play it to play it. Jagantha could be a couple of different things. Ooh, that's not sacrifice. Normally you see Jagantha Black Ecos, you're like, okay, sacrifice. But hey. When it dies, a creature gets a -1/-1. There's not really a good way to do this, is there? I do want to kill it. To be fair, let's just make the attack. It'll push another rat. Interesting. Only blockers. In theory, you could try and block and trade here, but obviously if I have a red spell, then that doesn't work. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna have me just run this out here. They could be on something more sacrifice. Well, this is a bit slow at this point. Going into turn 3, I'll put it on the bottom. I'm just gonna put all my stuff on my upkeep just in case. So here, let's take a draw step. Okay, Burning Tree is interesting. The thing with Burning Tree is that we want to be mana efficient, but stomp off of it. I'm gonna go ahead and stomp this. Feels weird. I'm still not entirely sure what our opponent's up to. We've only seen the rat so far. That's fine. I'm not gonna run this play with fire out now. Hold up, that's it on the opponent's turn. Okay, Fable. Yeah, we still don't know anything. I'm gonna do this now so that we can free to Bone Crusher Giant. We drew to Kenzin, which is awkward because we have one in play. Is Psych the wrong land? Maybe there's some more information here. Swamp, Blood Crypt. Okay. If you're interested in Rat Tribal, I do have a Rat Tribal video on the channel. But this looks a little different and pretty sweet. I just don't know exactly what's going on yet. Okay, another Fable is terrifying. This one's gonna flip this turn. 2, 3. Okay. Go for a treat, but they're on 7. Which means in this situation they need to block something. You may as well tap everything. We can't afford to eat one of the 1/2s. Even though we don't have any sorcery. Imagine for Sasa's command. So. Yeah, we would love to not leave them with things to copy. Yeah. No Fatal Push. We are in the clear. Into game 2. Okay. And there are more shenanigans at foot. We still don't actually have very much information based off of what we saw. If they're doing more sacrifice things, then like the expertise is not literally the worst. Squeeze probably also fine. In the vines, we saw Fable, but not much else. If there are... the rats. The thing I'm tempted to bring in is Clothis. And again, these kind of decks, Bowman Courier gets worse against because we're not really looking to grind. It's really hard to push the damage through. I'm tempted to bring in a couple copies of Clothis. And do I want Cinder Vines for... We saw Fatal Push, we saw the Rat, we saw Lands, we saw Fable. I don't know how you bring these in, but not be super happy about it. Like this squeeze also not. And I'm feeling this game 2 is going to look completely different. So to be fair, dodging double Fable is also totally fine by me. Again, pretty solid. Okay, mulligans, down to 6. The rat's back. Firing Impulse and Magmatic Channeler. Okay. Yeah, this is not what I imagined. Still not actually sure if these are better or worse than like. I'm gonna Phoenix Check here because the Swift Spear can't attack. That's fine. Do they play? The one thing about this is that the Gnawing Van will eventually be able to kill this. It will chip in a little bit first. If we just play the Swift Spear that can block, this deals the damage, it does -1/-1. Just dies. Second Gnawing Vermin. Okay. Right, I'm an Ixalis and a Fable. So, like, sacrifice, but with some shenanigans. The Channeler scares me. Dockland. Claim the Channeler. Oh, golly. We don't have a fish removal for that, that's for sure. They need the sorceries, which they have currently. Another Phoenix Trick, this also dies to the... I'm trying to think how fast they're going to be. Either genius or terrible. I need to remember that claim out of the graveyard can give something new haste, but obviously mana invested. Changes things a bit. The thing about the Channeler in particular is that it's a Madness Enabler, but, well, not actually that it does do that, but the main thing is that it's getting them extra cards. They can decide to discard to it to get some new cards to play. But they've shot their bunker first. Maybe they're not going to activate it. Okay. Our next listening, we're going to copy it, we're going to kill a Phoenix Chick. There. Yeah. Pickles. Now they're going to tick up, they're going to minus. They don't minus. I mean...
Pleasure doing business with you.
I don't want to discard because we have the resources to kill their stuff. Maybe I should discard the Cinder Vines. Maybe that's the actual one. I want to kill this thing. I don't feel great about it. To be fair. They have a couple of different things that interact really nicely with these Phoenix Chicks. However,
my revenge will be cruel and
I'm gonna go ahead and make this off the adversary. And then we will shoot down the Omnixilus. Put that away. I could have powered the Swiss Spear up and attacked here, but it's actually not up to much. Like, both of these are problematic to, even with the player with fire attack and see. We're losing the chick either way. This way we get to at least kind of lose it on our terms. And this chick is currently bringing back this chick. So, yeah, keeping one of them is good.
My empire
We'll see how it goes.
crumbles.
I'm still hyped for these camera activations, I'll be honest. We'll see what happens with these. Okay. So it could be debating what to discard to Chandler. Obviously they can add Gigantha. That's not really doing much. Okay, Vessel's interesting, so obviously that means they've got things to go back. They've got Claim to Fame, as we've already seen. Very, Well, the last card is. Do we go back? The DN of Lifelink. Let's just confirm that. Comes back with a counter too. I think I might be trying to move into the red zone, you know? This is at 2 cards, I need another 3. I'm gonna do some unwarranted attacking. Mostly because I want to get the bird back and start hitting stuff. We'll see how that actually plays out. Again, they can still activate Channeler, but... Let's see. This block's interesting. They're gonna certainly have some triggers, that's for sure. Unless I just let this die. Right. Let's get the Channeler out of the way. The Channeler, I think, is the most problematic card here. This way we keep them a little bit honest. They still have an unknown card in their hand, but... The failed push there are actually kind of fine. They have to use the counter hit to kill the Swiss Spear. They could direct at the chick, but... Yeah, this is more likely. Okay. Do they have a way to bring back the Albions Vessel straight away? If they do, if they have claim, then they have a way to give it. They'll have haste as well, which, you know. Oh, we're finally activating. Let's go. What we got? Dreadhood Arcanist. Okay, that's pretty good. That claims the. Okay, we can't have that. Say that does claim the vessel. Let them kill a bunch of stuff. So actually, I'm not entirely sure about that. Oh, good target. I was like, why is it saying I can activate this? Excuse me. 1, 2. We're at 9. I think I attack with the Arcanist. We can block it. Yeah. We're in a position. Oh. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting a demon. My bad. The sorcery. I feel fairly happy about blocking here. I'm really confused they didn't kill the flies though. Alright, let's see what happens. It looks like they're gonna go for a shadow activation. Mountain in the bin. What do we hit? 2 lands. Yeah. 5 coming down. I accidentally add Gigantha? No. I sack this off. Now I sack with oh, they can ping a bird. Oh, I'm playing a 3rd creature. I think actually pinging the bird, letting them ping the bird is fine. I'm just gonna keep hoping they decide not to bring the demon back. They could just target the bounty creator, sorry. But boring. Okay, they are gonna do this. Third land. Alright. The other thing is that other than Fable, we've seen no targets for this, so they probably should not be in. Not that Bone Mercury would be doing anything, but maybe there's something else we can do. So now they cleared a path for the demon, is that what's going on? Okay, they're gonna Fatal Push. It does take us off the mana requirement. Or well, the requirement of hasty creatures. We should have bought this. But we'll live. New Arcanist. Okay. Arrows are not bad, but they probably have some other stuff they can do. Yeah, no actual reason to attack here. The problem is, eventually by... Have I missed something? Return to the creature of my value 2 less to the battlefield. When an Arcanist enters the battlefield and enters the graveyard, you make a 5/5. Unless if you cast in the graveyard, it automatically only lets you choose Fame for some reason. I don't think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's not. New Vessel, and we've got down to the Bugbear. Okay. That has lifelink. And now we have Gigantha. My turn. It does have lifelink. We get the bird back. Just seems very worth it. This is Menace. This is a T1, this is a T2. See, this gains him a life. I like the 1/3. Well, I don't think things up much. Alright. Well, currently next time we're threatening to bring back the other Phoenix chick. Let me know in the comments if I'm tripping balls and you can't make a demon with us. Which is good. Darkness Lesser. Is it play one of them? Yeah, you choose one. Yeah, shot the Phoenix. Give it a lethal off a stomp. I don't know where this drum music's come from. Alright, cool. Alright, well. That has been Atarka Red. Hope you enjoyed. Deck is very, very fun. Casting Atarka Command is awesome. We just got a bunch of new wildcards, so hey, you can craft them now, which I could have before. There's another deck actually that I've got planned for later on this week that I also was missing like 10 wildcards for, which is rare nowadays. But yeah, watch out for that. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching.